It's a disgrace that we're faced with the choice of voting for bad government to get good roads, or voting for good government and ending up with bad roads. The status quo of government spending more without addressing efficiency and without respect for the taxpayer is what I campaigned against. This transportation bill isn't just status quo, it's status quo in your face. 1/3 of the spending in this transportation bill is not going to roads and bridges. In other words, to get $1 of spending at already bloated prices for construction, the taxpayer is required to pay about $1.50. The latest iteration of the bill I've seen is removing the at-the-pump tax and putting the full impact on the wholesaler. Except I can assure you as an economist that more than 90% of the wholesale tax will get passed back to the consumers, and they will pay close to 30 cents per gallon more at the pump as a result. So it's not just that we're going to hammer the taxpayer, we're going to lie to them too, that they don't have to bear the burden of this bill. There's over $6 billion of taxpayer money to spend every year on transportation without this bill. If more of that money goes to roads and bridges, and if it can be spent without the inefficiencies of prevailing wage and compulsory unionism, we can appropriately address our infrastructure without further burdening the already overburdened taxpayers. To spend as this bill requires is like an obese man seeking nutrition at the most expensive dessert shop in town. If we could calculate the BMI for our state government, it would surely be in the grossly obese range. Good government or good roads? This bill forces that false choice on legislators and the consequences of that false choice on taxpayers. All of us should oppose false choices with bad consequences. I've heard it said by proponents of this bill that it's only the equivalent of the cost of a couple of beers or a couple of lattes a week. That's one way to look at it, I guess. But after all the exactions of government and all the other expenses in a taxpayer's life, now the government is saying, we're going to take those 2 lattes and those 2 beers away from you too. This bill says loudly and clearly that the taxpayer isn't doing enough for the state. We're saying the state is not doing enough for our taxpayers.